Greetings. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Aaron Brissois. I'm CEO over at Golden Shovel Agency. And welcome to Golden Shovel's 2016 Expert Webinar Series for May. And we bring in experts from the industry, of course, to share about latest trends and technologies every month. And before I introduce our today, just let me cover a couple pieces of business. Everybody, all the attendees are in listen-only mode, so you won't be able to speak. But feel free to type any questions throughout the presentation in the chat box over on the control panel for the GoToWebinar. And Todd had said if questions come up throughout the presentation, I can ask them. So feel free to put those in. And also, if you miss anything or pop on late, you'll be able to get us the slides from this presentation or a recording of the presentation. Both of those will be made available. If you're interested in receiving that, you can contact Victor at vperez, P-E-R-E-Z, at goldenshovel.com, and he'll be able to send you over a copy. All right, well, without anything to do, let me introduce today's topic. It's the importance of integrating CRM for economic developers. Implementing the fundamentals of CRM, or customer relation management, is of critical importance for economic developers. CRM allows economic developers to track and manage potential projects over an extended period of time. In addition, it allows for the connection of various stakeholders, including company executives, bankers, site selectors, and government officials to any specific project, allowing you to quickly identify individuals associated with that project. In this session, we will review about the advantages of integrating a CRM that will help you to get the most of your economic development efforts. And our presenter today is Todd Smithy. He's president of Conran Incorporated. He founded it in 2003, and since its inception, Conran has specialized in implementing customer relation management for economic development organizations and provides assistance in areas including lead, account, contact, project, and retention call management. Thank you for joining us today, Todd.
Thanks for having me, Aaron.
Great. Well, let's pass it over to you, and I'll just let you know if questions pop up along the way, and then at the end we'll open it up for any further questions and discussion.
Sounds good. Aaron, can you see my screen okay?
Okay, not yet.
Okay, Aaron, I'm still looking at your screen.
One moment.
Aaron, use the other Todd Smithy login.
There we go.
Okay.
All right. Well, first of all, I want to thank everybody for their time. We're here to talk about integrating customer relationship management for economic developers. One of the things I want to point out first as we get started here is you will see the Salesforce logo in the upper right. That's the application we work with, but the areas that we're going to touch on today will work with any CRM system that's out there. So just kind of a little bit of a full disclosure there. Before we get started, I'm just going to give a little introduction about our company. We've been implementing Salesforce.com for economic development since 2003. The purpose for our company, delivers CRM technology and process consulting. What we want to do is make sure that people leverage the most out of their CRM investment. And we also focus exclusively on economic development organizations. So what we try to do is build solutions that will work for individuals in your industry. We've got clients in 27 states. One of the things that we focus on is long-term support to ensure that end users adopt the system. That's one of the things that people who use CRM systems will need to focus on, is end user adoption, and to get as many people using it to as robustly as possible. Some of our clients, we work with clients all over the United States now. Like I said a moment ago, we've been doing this since 2003, so over that period of time, a couple of things we've learned is, one, that everybody knows everybody, and two is you better do a good job because everybody knows everybody. We're going to touch on really 4 main reasons why economic developers need CRM. Marketing, BR&E and attraction, reporting and metrics, and the last one is intellectual capital. What we found over the years is that marketing is a lot of times managed via a collection of systems, of different systems that aren't integrated. What that does is it makes it very, very difficult for people to see how an individual contact or lead is marketed to. And also, it's nearly impossible to segment individual contacts. So you're not, without a robust CRM system, what we found is most of our clients are constantly pulling spreadsheets, inserting them into constant contact, and doing an email blast. One of the things that we recommend, most importantly, is that you integrate your CRM with your website, and I'm going to give you an example of that. I was giving a presentation for a state economic development association about 1.5 years ago, and as I was going through the presentation, somebody actually must have pulled out their phone, went to my website, hit the Contact Me Now button, filled it out, and actually I got an email right away saying you have a new lead. And within 2 weeks, we had a client. And what's important about that is you can get in touch with someone in almost real time. We usually wait maybe 10 or 15 minutes, so it's not too spooky. It doesn't look like we're tracking somebody every second of the day. But we do make sure that we follow up on all of our leads and strike while the iron's hot. The other thing that's really important about a CRM is that you're able to manage all campaigns within a single database. And what that means is when you pull up that contact record, you're able to see every way that you've touched that contact over the last years. So you may have met that person, say, at a trade show. You may have met that person, or maybe you followed up with an email campaign. And then you may even, maybe you do some type of hard copy campaign. So you're able to follow that person straight through. You pull up the record and you're able to see every way you've touched that client over the years. What you can see here on the screen is a contact record. And, we capture your typical information, obviously like your phone number and your email address. And then if you look down, we've got really the core of our marketing segmentation. You look at different committees. If you have some individual, let's say on the Brownfield Redevelopment Committee, or areas of interest. We found early on that people's title really doesn't, is not a good indicator of what they're always interested in. So depending on your strategic plan and what areas that you want to focus on, what we do is we customize this area so you're able to send highly targeted marketing communications to these individuals based on their areas of interest. So within the application, you're able to say wind energy is something that you're focusing on, and you're having a wind energy seminar. You're able to send an email to that individual or an invitation that they have a much better chance of opening because you're always sending very specific content to that individual. When we go to BR&E and business attraction, we keep going back to this. You really want to manage all your key metrics in a single location. And in CRM tools, that's typically based around a company. So within that company record, you can see all the information that's going on with that individual. If they have, say, multiple projects that you're working on with them, multiple contacts, maybe retention calls, you're able to access that information, and you're also able to access it from any mobile device that you might have as well. And what's nice about that, if you run into somebody, you can pull up their contact record, you can see how you know them, and you don't have to be by your laptop or in your office. The other thing is you're able to attach all your partners involved with a project to the actual specific project record. So you're able to show, the site selector that maybe started off the project process. You're able to associate maybe financial or government individuals to that project, all in one place. And what that allows you to do is look at that project and know who all the key players are right out of the gate. On a retention call, and this is something that that we've spent a lot of time on, is what it allows you to do is associate the retention calls to the account. So if you look at the top, this retention call is associated with Edge Communications, and we have some of the key metrics that we like to focus on. All of these screenshots you're seeing really need to be customized so they match what you're looking for within your organization. We typically look at areas such as reports that you need to provide your board. We look at areas such as reports that you want to create, and also areas that are included in your strategic plan as well. Our goal with when we implement a CRM system is really for you to never have to use spreadsheets again. All the data is included in one location. It's accessible by anyone at any time, and it's customized to meet your specific needs. From an attraction or project management point of view, what we like to do is capture some of the key metrics that are important to your organization. And what that typically turns out to be is information such as CapEx, maybe the key industry sectors that they're involved in, and especially employment numbers. That's always the holy grail. But because of all this is in one location, you're able to access this, again, from your cell phone, from any type of tablet, and you're able to track some important information. We've all heard that a site selector will call on a Friday afternoon, usually on a holiday weekend, and say that they need a package sent out by Monday morning. Well, because of the analytics, you're able to look at that information and see how many of those projects that the site selector has asked you to provide a package for actually happen. What that allows you to do is better manage your time and manage your effort on those site selectors that are bringing real projects to the table. Another key and important area is metrics and reporting, and this is something that we spend a lot of time with your with all of our clients. Everyone has to provide a what we'll call a report or a series of reports on a regular basis, either monthly or quarterly. And some of the things that we really want to show are, what are leads by source, what types of projects we have, and those projects may be sorted by industry. They may be sorted by project type. Is it an expansion, relocation, or an attraction project? We also like to show what the lead source was for that project. So, say you're getting a tremendous amount of leads from your website. You're able to show that your project came from a specific website. You'll know exactly what time and what day that the project started. And you also be able to see the source of those projects as well. Finally, we have retention calls, and this is something that a lot of our clients really spend a lot of time on. And the reason they do that is they want to see what needs are in the community. And what we find out, frequently, and I'm sure you've all heard this, Workforce development is always a big thing. But we take it a step farther. In our retention call process, we have what we call a red flag alert. And let's say somebody during the retention call says that, or shows that they're on a month-to-month lease, their revenue is decreasing, and their employment is decreasing. It will automatically create a task for somebody to follow up on that red flag account. So you can follow that company and maybe stop them from ever leaving in the first place. Some of the example charts that I've shown here, you can see, like for example, I've put leads by source. And here's some popular ones that we see, site selector, website, phone inquiry. What's nice about this and everything that you've seen here is everything is customizable to what you specifically need. So if you have a different source of leads, you're not stuck with what you see here. It's built out so it matches what you're looking for. And that's something that we really focus a lot of time on. Your software shouldn't really make you change the way you do business. Your software should be adaptable so it supports the way that you want to do business. You'll see here some of the popular ones, some of the popular dashboards that we have, projects by industry, retention calls. It's a great way for people to manage what their specific goals are. And when they first log into the application, they're able to see, how they're doing, say, retention calls per date versus their goal. Here's some other examples here. One of the nice things is you're able to show different types of charts based on, what you want to be able to show people. And some data lends itself to certain charts better than others. So for example, let's say you have a goal of new projects year to date. You can use that speedometer chart up there in the upper right. Projects by stage. If you look right underneath it, it shows what projects are available by what stage. So it helps you forecast. I know it's difficult in your business to forecast an exact date for something to close or for something to happen, but what it does allow you to do is get a good idea of where you are at any specific time. And you can also go back and report to your boards and say, hey, here's where we are, here's where we are over year, and here's where we expect to go based on the data that we've captured. One of the most important things is intellectual capital, and that's something we focus a lot on. And what we do is we want to make sure that you're able to keep and hold on to your most precious asset, and that's the information that people have in their heads. And as we all know, people come and go. People also may not be in the office, and maybe a big project shows up or someone needs an update. Intellectual capital is extremely important. A good CRM system will provide you a way to capture that information and capture things like historical key metrics, maybe long-term project management. You can see a project. We've been working on this for 18 months now, and the stage hasn't changed. What is there that we can do to make something happen? And I think most importantly, it's a backup as people leave the organization. We had a client once that he had been with his organization. He was the executive director for 30 plus years, and everything he had was either in his head or on paper. And when he decides to hang up his spurs and retire, whoever comes in after him is either going to have to call him on a regular basis or try and rebuild everything from scratch. And that's just something that you really, really don't want to do. What we'd like to do now is open up for questions. And one of the things that I think is important is, we really want you to ask anything's on the table here. So if you have questions about, different types of reports or different things that we found, we skipped over some things like we help some of our private clients with capital campaigns, things along those lines, membership management, please feel free to ask. So Aaron, if we can kind of open it up to questions at this point, that'd be great.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, feel free to type questions in for Todd over on the right-hand column under questions in the control panel. Just have a couple here to start with. Have you had experience connecting CRMs to lead tracking software?
Yes, we have. We've connected CRMs to just about every application you can think of. You know, all the way from Eloqua, which is probably the most expensive one out there, to least expensive or less expensive systems, but systems that usually give you what you need, like Pardot, HubSpot, and Silverpop as well. And what's nice about that is it allows you to share information back and forth between your marketing automation lead management system and Salesforce.
Great, excellent. Here's another question. Could you share a couple success stories of either business retention or attraction where the CRM flagged a situation that set off the communication to successfully retain a business or keep it?
Yeah, what we have is, you know, when you create the reports or the automation to provide a flag, you know, you get an example right, or you get alerted right away to that company, and what it has done, it has allowed your BR&E people to get out immediately and follow up on it. It also gives it visibility within the organization. So what you're able to see is, you know, here we have 15 red flag companies in our area. What are the main reasons that they're either not doing well or looking to leave? So it even goes beyond that one single company. It allows you to see major trends that are happening.
Okay, thanks. Here's another question. What does it cost to have a CRM integrated into an organization?
That's a really good question. It depends on the size of the organization, obviously. You know, a typical, what we call standard implementation, which would be, say, like a county or city level, is approximately $7,500. And what that does, it gives you a number of things. It customizes the application so it meets your requirements. You know, if your organization calls accounts companies instead of accounts, you know, we'll change that so it matches your language. We also like to look at your reports, and like we talked about a little while ago, your strategic plan, so you have an idea of what's happening, and you can run those reports on a regular basis without running around looking at different spreadsheets and going through your Outlook over the last you know, 30, 60, 90 days.
Great. All right, here's another question. How have you said you're pretty familiar with Salesforce as one of the ones you use regularly. Are there some examples of managing the long-term projects using the CRM that are currently on the table?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that? Are there some other examples?
Yeah, some examples of just the projects that have been managed through the CRM ongoingly beyond just tracking contacts, actually managing the project itself. Is there a pretty good interface for that?
Yeah, right within Salesforce, there's actually, and I keep going back to that, I apologize, but in most CRM systems, you're able to manage projects right within the system. It's usually a native capability, and what's nice about that is you can link different contacts, even if they don't work for the company that has the project, to that specific project. So in one place, you can see the site selector, you can see the maybe the banking or financial people that are involved, any type of government contacts, and obviously contacts with the company that's looking to expand or relocate.
Okay, just I have one other question here. How do you recommend getting started for exploring the use of a CRM system if an organization hasn't used one before?
Well, my main recommendation, there are really three things. One is keep it simple. It's you can always build onto something over time. If you try to bite off more than you can chew at the beginning, it tends to confuse people. It makes it difficult to manage, and over the long term, your results aren't as good. So, for example, we usually focus on leads, account management, contact management, projects, and retention calls. That would be a typical implementation. Now, some organizations are, real heavy into capital campaigns. We may switch out one of those for capital campaigns. So that's number one, is keep it simple. Number two is make sure the data that you put into your CRM system is as clean as it can possibly be. Information that comes across what we call as dirty data really makes people not want to use the system. They have to have trust in it, that the information they're seeing is correct, and that it's actionable. And the third, and probably the most important, is you really need top-down management approval of this. And if your senior management's not using the system and not asking for reports and data to come out of the system, we found that people tend not to use it as much. So everyone's heard the phrase, if it's not managed, it doesn't happen. That's the same way here.
Okay, sounds good. Is there anyone out there that would like to ask any additional questions from Todd? You can feel free to type them in now. Okay, here came a question. How do you migrate from one CRM to another?
That's a great question, and I'll start it off by saying very carefully. The migration is really important, and we've migrated data from just about every one of the standard economic development tools that I'm sure you all know of out there. We also moved information from Access, from spreadsheets, other applications that maybe are more sales, have maybe more of a sales bent to them, but you want to use them for economic development. All we really need is to get that information scrubbed and in a proper format, in a spreadsheet format, and then we're able to import that information and connect the records to the right place. So what we typically do is we build the application under the accounts or companies area, and then we'll attach the contacts to those companies, and then we'll attach say projects to those companies as well. So it's really something that it seems daunting. The hardest part of it is making sure that your data is clean. It's kind of like your house. It always looks the best the day that you go to sell it. Same thing with CRM. It needs to look the very best when you first launch it.
All right, thank you. Another question has come in. Have you connected it to FreshBooks or QuickBooks or other invoice services?
Okay, I'm gonna kind of break my promise here, and I'm gonna talk about this is my experience with Salesforce. Salesforce actually has what's called the App Exchange, and what it does, it has plugins just like you get from the App Store or Google Play. And those applications, I think they have over 3,000 of them. About half of them are free, and it's as simple as downloading one of those applications into Salesforce and doing the proper connections back and forth. So there's there are some consulting companies that will help you with QuickBooks. Most of these applications, you can probably do on your own. It's just like adding an app to your smartphone.
You had made a comment earlier regarding mobile, being able to access it with mobile phones. Is most of the functionality available in a mobile platform, or is some of the stuff done on desktop and the mobile is used more as a directory?
I can't speak for other applications, but I know for Salesforce, anything you see in Salesforce, you can update or access via your smartphone.
Okay, here's another question. How easy is it to integrate a CRM system into the website? How does that work? Is it like with hyperlinks?
It's actually very easy. There's a wizard within Salesforce that looks at what you have in the template, and it actually creates the HTML code for you automatically. We take that and we would email it, actually email it to you, and what you would do is insert that as the web form. And when somebody fills that form out and hits submit, it will automatically populate a Salesforce.com lead record and send you an email with a link in it. When you click on that link, it will take you directly to that new lead. So you're able to answer and follow up on it almost in a real time.
Excellent, interesting. Are there any examples of connecting social media tools to CRMs, like LinkedIn or Facebook?
Yep. Facebook synchronizes with Salesforce. There's a LinkedIn app on the App Exchange, Twitter as well. So if you want to go in and you're going to meet with somebody and you're following them on Twitter, you'll be able to see whatever their posts are right from their Salesforce.com contact record. And the way that's set up is you have the same permissions that you would have with that social media application. So if you're using Facebook and you're friends with somebody, you'll be able to follow everything through Salesforce that you would through your regular Facebook account.
Wow, that's interesting. Pretty powerful.
Yeah, it's a there's a lot you can do, and I think in my opinion, the most important thing is it helps you stay organized and keep in touch with potential prospects, while at the same time storing your data. The last thing you need is to lose 5 or 10 years worth of data that your organization spent a lot of time and a lot of money building up over the years.
Oh, excellent. For people that are looking at this for the first time, considering a CRM, you mentioned that you represent Salesforce. Can you give some examples of other CRM systems that you'd recommend taking a look at, or might be leaders in the industry?
Yeah, the one that we most often run into is Microsoft. So that would be one that you could take a look at. There are some older ones out there that I think they maybe haven't kept up with the times as much. But the main competitor that I run into is Microsoft CRM.
One of the questions came up regarding Zoho as a CRM. Do you have thoughts on that platform?
Yeah, I've worked with Zoho before. There's what we found is it doesn't have the flexibility of Salesforce, and again I promised I wouldn't say it, but I'm going to say it again. We pick Salesforce. That's all we do, and it's been 13 years straight. So there's a reason for that.
Certainly. Okay. Well, that's most of the questions that have come through so far. Does anybody have any other further questions? A couple minutes. And is there any before giving people a chance to type those in? Is there any other thoughts you'd like to share, Todd?
I think the most important thing is that you actually get started. If you don't like the application you have now, I would recommend that you shop around, look at different tools that are out there, and no matter which one you select, there's really the three things that you really want to focus on are an approval, clean data, and keep things simple out of the gate. To me, that's one of the number one reasons why I've seen Salesforce or any CRM system not work out of the gate, is because everyone wants to do everything at the same time. and it just becomes overwhelming. So focus simple, get really good at a couple things, then add more functionality as you go along.
Okay, sounds good. We did have one last question come in, and it is, can this Salesforce CRM, does it give you task alerts? Can you tag people into different tasks?
Yes, it does. And what it allows you to do is you can assign tasks to other people too, which is a function a lot of people like. But you know, you can if say you take a call and that task should belong to you, you can create a task for you to follow up on it. Or if you want to, you know, maybe there's someone else better fit to manage that task, you can assign that task to the other person. And what that allows you to do is to keep an eye on it, to make sure it happens, and to make sure you're following up with people as quickly as possible.
Excellent. One last one that came in. A couple people have asked about the advantages of Salesforce over Maximixer.
Did you say, would it be Maximizer?
Maximizer, yeah.
Yeah, Maximizer is, it's been around for a long time, and I think it's an application that would work for maybe for a single individual to keep their contact and project information in sync. But from a sharing point of view, from a data sharing, from the ability to reach it via mobile, the number of applications we spoke about, the App Exchange that plug into it easily and have pre-written plug-in programs, it's just nowhere near as robust as Salesforce. And one of the things with Salesforce is you can start off with one of their simpler versions and upgrade as time goes by. So you don't have to start out buying the Cadillac at the very beginning.
Sounds great. Does Salesforce integrate with like Google Analytics or other types of tracking systems?
Yes, it does. You're able to actually push that data into Salesforce. And you know, we talked about marketing automation tools. You know, you're able to basically integrate any marketing automation tool that you want. There's also some very advanced analytics that are available. It's called Wave, and it's part of Salesforce. And what that allows you to do is really take a dive deep and pick apart information beyond say charts and dashboards.
Okay, well that sounds really good. That's all the questions that we've had. So thanks so much. And how do people get in touch with you over at Conrin if they'd like?
They can reach us at our website. It's .conrin, CONRIN.com, or via phone at 616-897-4325.
All right, well, thanks again for presenting today. It was a real pleasure to have you. A very interesting topic, something that's
Take the time.
You bet. So thanks, and for all of the listeners, attendees today, feel free to contact us once again if you'd like further information, copies of this presentation, or a recording of the presentation we can provide to you. And other than that, let's keep an eye out for our webinar next month in June. So thanks so much.
Thanks, everybody.